Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bachelor Nation News fans. Fans of Bachelor in Paradise Season 10 are laughing at an awkward pity rose dismissal that came in the first minutes of Week 3. It's already clear that ABC's Bachelor Nation will not be without drama while The Bachelor and The Bachelorette are on hiatus, as the spinoff has already dialed up the tension. Week 2 ended in a cliffhanger after a major bombshell moment involving Justin Glaze and Susie Evans. Several love triangles cropped up as several newcomers arrived to shake things up. However, things got truly awkward for Justin, Lexi Young, and Susie, a Bachelor Season 26 alum who famously rejected Clayton Echard's proposal and recently dated and broke up with Justin. Justin and Lexi had been forming a bond by the time Susie arrived in Paradise, leaving the pair's attachment up in the air. Justin sent shockwaves through Paradise when he chose not to continue bonding with Lexi and instead give Susie his rose. Things took another turn when she declined the rose, leading Justin to walk off camera as well as Lexi. The episode ended on a cliffhanger. Into Week 3, Justin told host Jesse Palmer that he was leaving and that he wanted to give his rose to someone. Susie was visibly upset, but Justin didn't want to talk to her. She went to stand with the ladies to see who Justin gave his rose to, and Palmer then revealed Justin wanted Jill to have his rose, shocking everyone. "It's not for me, Jesse," Jill said. "I so much appreciate it, but I have had my time," she added, before Susie told her to take it, and Palmer insisted that Justin wanted her to have it, out of friendship. "That's really sweet of him," she said, before saying, "You know what? Fine." In a confessional, Jill said, "Getting a rose is like getting revenge. It's good anytime you can get it." After Jill bowed and took her rose, she said to everyone, "I love a pity rose." Everyone laughed at her ill-timed joke. On X, fans were not amused by the constant rose dismissals, with one person writing, "Is anyone else watching Bachelor in Paradise? I'm going to explode." Another penned, "Jill, you take that pity rose. We want to see more of you, Queen." Justin is not second-guessing his decision to give his rose to Susie, admitting on the Tuesday, July 15 episode of the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast, "I feel bad for how that all went down. I mean, I stand by the choice that I made, I don't have any regrets about it, but I do feel bad, and I do wish that we could have had a conversation beforehand. We weren't allowed to." Initially, I had no clue why Susie declined the rose, because I thought that it was clear as day to me where my intentions were and what I was trying to do by offering that up, he explained. "I was really taken aback. I remember just like I kind of blacked out. Like I just felt numb after that and just wanted to escape. I just wanted to disappear. It was just such a hard feeling to describe." The exes spoke early on following Susie's arrival, but Justin explained that he wasn't able to convey the intentions behind his gesture to her before the rose ceremony. He explained, "I have to put myself in her shoes. Oh, she's probably expecting me to give this rose to Lexi, right? If I know Susie, of course, here I am trying to do something selfless for someone who was selfless. What would this selfless thing be for her to do? Not accept the rose because she wouldn't want to step on Lexi's toes," he added. When asked whether there was any part of Justin that thought he and Susie could rekindle their romance,
Week 3
he
of
said
Bachelor
no.
in Paradise was supposed to bring romance, drama, and some shocking twists, but fans didn't expect one particular scene to leave them doubled over with laughter. It wasn't the entrance of a new contestant or the usual beachside heartbreak that caught everyone off guard. Instead, it was a single, painfully awkward moment, the infamous pity rose dismissal that has already become one of the most talked about scenes of the season. The third week in Paradise is notorious for being when the honeymoon period ends. By now, couples are either solidifying connections or scrambling to keep a spark alive. Tensions are high, alliances are shaky, and every rose ceremony feels like a battlefield. This season was no different. Coming into the Week 3 rose ceremony, the dynamics were messy. Couples like Tyler and Sophia were already rocky after a surprise date card pulled Sophia away with newcomer Brandon. Meanwhile, Emily, the bubbly underdog of the season, had been left without a solid connection. Though she had gone on a casual date with Jason, he made it clear that his heart wasn't in it. Still, Emily remained hopeful. In classic Paradise fashion, she leaned on her friendships and optimism, believing that somehow, someone would throw her a rose to keep her journey alive. Little did she know, she was about to receive one of the most awkward rose gestures in Bachelor in Paradise history. In the hours leading up to the ceremony, contestants were buzzing. Who would give roses to whom? Who was on the chopping block? The camera captured hushed conversations between the men. Jason to Tyler. "I don't want to lead her on, man. Emily's sweet, but I can't fake it." Jason, sighing. "Yeah, but I don't want to just send her home like that." It was clear Jason was torn. He didn't feel a romantic spark with Emily, but he also didn't want to look heartless on national television. His solution? The dreaded pity rose. The problem, of course, is that a pity rose in Paradise is like putting a Band-Aid on a sinking ship. Everyone knows it's not about love, it's about stalling heartbreak. And when producers caught wind of Jason's plan, they knew they had television gold on their hands. As the sun set, the cast gathered for the ceremony. Tiki torches flickered, music swelled, and one by one, the roses were handed out. Couples embraced, contestants smiled nervously, the usual. Then came Jason's turn. Holding the rose with a stiff, uncertain grip, he walked up to Emily. His voice cracked as he delivered what might go down as the most unintentionally hilarious rose speech in Paradise. "Emily, you're such a good person. You're so kind, and I really appreciate your energy here. I think you deserve to be here longer. Will you accept this rose?" The pause was deafening. Even the crickets seemed to stop chirping. Emily smiled politely, but the look in her eyes said everything. She knew it was a pity rose. The rest of the contestants did too. A couple of them even bit their lips, trying not to laugh. Emily, to her credit, responded with grace. Sure, thanks, Jason." The rose was accepted, but the damage was done. Fans watching at home erupted in laughter. Fan reactions, social media explodes. Within minutes of the episode airing, Bachelor Nation took to Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to immortalize the moment. Memes popped up everywhere. A screenshot of Jason holding the rose with the caption, "When your friend invites you to the party out of pity." A gif of Emily's awkward smile paired with me pretending to like my Christmas gift. A viral tweet. This wasn't a rose ceremony, it was a hostage negotiation. Fans compared the moment to middle school dances where someone asks you to slow dance just so you're not left out. Others dubbed Jason the king of awkward breakups and joked that Emily should have rejected the rose on principle. One fan wrote, "Bachelor in Paradise giving us the funniest pity rose in franchise history. I can't breathe." The laughter was universal, but beneath it all, there was genuine sympathy for Emily. Many praised her composure and kindness, calling her the real MVP for not making the moment even more uncomfortable. Behind the scenes, producer shenanigans. Insiders later revealed that producers saw Jason's hesitation before the ceremony and subtly encouraged him to give Emily the rose. They knew it wouldn't lead to a real relationship, but they also knew it would create a viral moment. Emily, reportedly, had mixed feelings about the rose. While she appreciated the extra time in Paradise, she confessed later in an ITM, "Honestly, I could feel it wasn't genuine. I think Jason was just trying to be nice. But hey, a rose is a rose, right?" Jason, meanwhile, seemed painfully aware of how awkward it looked on screen. "Yeah, I didn't want her to feel bad, but watching it back, I definitely see how it came across. Not my best move." The aftermath, the day after. The morning after the rose ceremony, Emily sat with her friend group and admitted she knew the rose wasn't about romance. Instead of sulking, though, she turned it into a joke. "So I got the pity rose. Who knew my Paradise journey would turn into a charity case?" Her self-deprecating humor won over both her castmates and fans. Meanwhile, Jason struggled to save face, with other contestants gently teasing him about the friendship rose gone wrong. But the real twist came later in the week, when Emily actually hit it off with a newcomer, proving that sometimes even a pity rose can buy you enough time for something real. Why fans loved it. Relatable, cringe, and comedy gold. The reason this moment landed so well with fans is simple. It was real. It wasn't a dramatic blow-up or a producer-manufactured fight. It was just an awkward human interaction,
The kind of thing we've all lived through in one form or another. Who hasn't been in a situation where someone was just being nice, but the gesture ended up making everything more uncomfortable? The pity rose struck a universal chord, reminding viewers that sometimes paradise is less about fairy tale romances and more about the hilarious, cringeworthy realities of dating. A legacy moment in paradise history. As week 3 wrapped up, fans continued to rewatch, meme, and laugh about the pity rose. Some even declared it the most iconic rose ceremony blunder since Juan Pablo season. Whether Emily's paradise journey ends in love or heartbreak, she'll forever be remembered as the woman who handled the awkward pity rose with grace, humor, and a smile that lit up social media. And Jason? Well, he's officially the poster boy for what not to do when you're unsure about handing out a rose. Conclusion. Week 3 of Bachelor in Paradise gave fans everything they wanted: romance, drama, and a moment of pure laugh-out-loud awkwardness. The pity rose dismissal will go down as one of the season's most memorable scenes, a perfect blend of cringe and comedy that united Bachelor Nation in laughter. In a show often filled with over-the-top drama, this small, awkward gesture reminded us that sometimes the funniest moments are the ones that weren't meant to be funny at all. Bachelor Nation may forget who ended up with who by the finale, but they'll never forget the look on Emily's face when Jason hands in hand at Rose for being such a good person. Because in paradise, love is messy, roses are precious, and pity, well, pity is
once in a
pricelessly
while,
awkward.
reality TV gives us a moment so uncomfortably awkward, so hilariously human, that it echoes far beyond the sandy beaches of Bachelor in Paradise. Week 3 gifted us exactly that, a rose ceremony that fans are calling the most laugh-out-loud pity rose dismissal in franchise history. But what really happened? Why were fans chuckling instead of crying? And what does this moment actually teach us? Not just about the contestants, but about life, dignity, and even the courage to laugh when things don't go as planned. Tonight, we're diving deep into the drama, the humor, and the unexpected wisdom behind the pity rose dismissal. Stay with me, because the further we go, the more shocking and uplifting this story becomes. Cue soft tropical background music, fade in rose graphics on screen. To understand why this single rose became such a spectacle, we have to rewind. The beach was buzzing in week 3, alliances forming, heartbreaks looming, and the kind of tense anticipation that only a Bachelor rose ceremony can deliver. For one contestant, Emily, hope was hanging by a thread. She hadn't formed a strong romantic bond, but she remained optimistic. Then came Brandon, a sweet but indecisive suitor, holding a rose in his trembling hands. And here's where things took a turn fans will never forget. Cliffhanger, because this rose wasn't about love. It wasn't about connection. It was about something far more complicated, and fans spotted it immediately. As Brandon extended that rose toward Emily, his words stumbled. He admitted, on national television, that he didn't really see a future with her, yet he couldn't bear to see her leave empty-handed. A rose meant to symbolize romance suddenly became, well, a participation trophy. Emily smiled bravely, accepted it, and the crowd of fans at home erupted, not in sympathy, but in laughter. It was awkward, it was cringeworthy, and it was so painfully relatable that fans couldn't stop replaying it. Cliffhanger, but why did laughter win over heartbreak? The answer lies in what happened next. The internet lit up like fireworks. Twitter, Facebook, and fan forums were flooded with memes, jokes, and cheeky commentary. Some compared it to getting a birthday card from someone who forgot your name. Others said that rose had the same energy as a pity invite to prom. Instead of tears, Bachelor Nation found joy in the absurdity. And for many viewers, especially those of us who've lived through decades of relationships, ups and downs, and disappointments, it felt oddly familiar. Because who among us hasn't been offered something that was meant to soften the blow, but only made it sting more? Cliffhanger, and yet, beneath the laughter, something remarkable began to happen, something that speaks to the heart of why this moment is unforgettable. Emily could have lashed out, she could have thrown the rose back or stormed away in tears, but instead, she showed remarkable grace. She thanked Brandon, accepted the rose, and held her head high. The awkwardness was undeniable, but so was her dignity.
Fans quickly shifted from laughter to admiration, praising her composure in a situation that could have been humiliating. It wasn't just about a rose anymore. It was about resilience, self-respect, and the ability to smile when the whole world is watching. Cliffhanger. But Emily wasn't the only one who walked away changed. Brandon's decision had ripple effects that reached every corner of the Paradise Beach. Brandon thought he was being kind, but kindness wrapped in hesitation can cause chaos. Other contestants whispered. Some questioned his sincerity. Was he keeping Emily around just to avoid guilt? Was he leading her on? Suddenly, alliances shifted, trust was broken, and a single rose, the most awkward rose of the season, became the spark for beach-wide drama. Fans realized they weren't just laughing at a cringeworthy moment, they were witnessing how one small choice can ripple through an entire community. Cliffhanger. And what fans discovered next was even more surprising. Because this wasn't the first pity rose in Bachelor history. Believe it or not, the pity rose has a legacy. Longtime Bachelor fans remember similar moments, times when contestants gave roses out of obligation, friendship, or fear of guilt. But none were quite this blatant. Week 3's dismissal was so awkwardly honest, so uncomfortably clear, that it set a new standard. For fans who've been watching since the early 2000s, it was both nostalgic and refreshing, a reminder of why this franchise endures. Because it's not always about fairy tales. Sometimes it's about the messy, real human moments that make us laugh and shake our heads. Cliffhanger. But laughter was only the beginning. Soon, fans began asking a bigger question. What does a pity rose say about us? On the surface, it's reality TV fluff. But dig deeper, and that pity rose reveals truths about compassion, pride, and authenticity. How often do we accept something, an apology, a gift, an invitation, not because it feels genuine, but because we don't want to make waves? And how often do we offer something half-hearted, thinking we're helping, when in fact we're just avoiding discomfort? This one rose sparked conversations not only about dating on TV, but about honesty and relationships everywhere. And fans over 60, many with decades of experience in love and friendship, found themselves nodding along. Cliffhanger. Because the real twist isn't how fans laughed at Emily's rose, it's how they saw themselves in it. The laughter wasn't cruel. It was cathartic. It was a recognition that life doesn't always wrap up neatly. Sometimes the most tender intentions create the most awkward outcomes. And that's why Bachelor Nation, instead of mourning Emily's lost chance at love, celebrated her resilience with humor. For older fans especially, it was a reminder. If you can laugh at the awkward chapters of your life, you can survive them, and maybe even grow stronger. Cliffhanger. But Emily's story didn't end there, and neither did the conversation about that rose. In the weeks that followed, the rose became legend. Contestants whispered about it, fans kept joking about it, and Emily, she became a quiet fan favorite, not for finding love, but for showing strength. Years from now, fans will remember Week 3 not for the couples who formed, but for the laughter, the grace, and the lessons hidden in one awkward gesture. Cliffhanger. And as we close this chapter, one final surprise remains. The biggest lesson of all. So, what can we take from the most awkward rose dismissal in Bachelor in Paradise history? That dignity matters more than romance. That laughter is sometimes the best defense against life's awkwardness. And that even in a reality TV spectacle, we can find truths that inspire us in our own lives. Emily may not have found love that week, but she found something else. Respect. And maybe that's the real prize. Because in the end, life isn't about pity roses. It's about how we carry ourselves when the roses don't come the way we hoped. So next time life hands you an awkward moment, remember Emily. Hold your head high, accept it with grace, and don't forget to laugh.